Hello everyone, this is Hodora and today we are back with Arc Knight Endfield, right? Because we just get a new update for Wuling. So this is my AIC report for Wuling part 1. Well, it's worthwhile to do part 1 this time around because we got a lot of new toys to work with to put into our AIC and our outpost. And let me show you. Well, these are laser currently in the game at this point, right? As 1.1 of ruling, this is the maximum production we can get by utilize all, right? All of the resort we can mine in ruling. We can get SC ruling battery to 12 unit per minute, Siling A 6 per minute, and Siling C 3 per minute. This Siling C need regional transfer or Ferrium or from Valent 4. So it's not gonna be permanent 3. It might drop to maybe 2.75, something like that. Because there is like a 5-minute downtime that we gonna not have enough Ferrium. But otherwise, 3 Siling C, 6 Siling A, and 12 SC battery. With just these 3, as you can see here, I use all Originum ore, right? We mining 480, we use 480, and of course with Cupium ore too, which we mine 120 and we use 120. So you basically cannot do anything else at all. You can't even make a Cupium component, Xiranite component, but to be honest, we don't need like more than 10,000 of these because most of what are these used for is used for key assembly, which only use 50 per piece. And if you are like min maxer, you can try to artifice them, but artificing is like marginal increase in terms of stat, right? Example, this mask base is 10.4% crit rate. If you artifice, it's gonna go to 11.4. It's just like 10% increase, which is result in like 1%. So is it worth it? If you mean maxer, maybe, but for me, for casual like me, no. with the current with the current build with no artificer, just level, skill, and weapon, I can basically do all the content in the game already. So yeah, I don't think that is need. Anyway, let's talk about my AIC already, right? So this is my outpost. I am managed to fit uh, the entirety of the new battery, right? The SC battery, I think is, where is it? Where are you? This one. This one. To produce this one, just the battery, we need to utilize all of the area in our outpost. But with this setup of my, we don't need to take anything from my main base. We don't need to keep in mind what are we making in the main base that need to transfer to this area because everything built from this. So let's work for our way backward, right? In order to make SC ruling battery, we need 4 copy, right? 4 copy of dense originum powder and 1 zircon. So for the originum powder, the cube we know already, we use 2 powder plus 1 sand leaf powder into the grinding, and it's gonna produce that. So we have 4 set of these set up here, and you see here we have 2 here and 2 here with a sand leaf powder generator over here. So we not use anything. We basically have surplus actually. So this is for the cube originium powder. But what is zircon, right? Zircon is a new material that you can make by utilizing 5 reactor crucible. These 5. The recipe is gonna be kind of confusing, right? Because as you can see here, we're gonna start from liquid selenite into zircon effluent production and into zircon production itself. So actually, I have paint. Yeah, let's do that. So to make things easy, right? Let's say this is selenite. Selenite you make, and we have water. So selenite plus water gonna be liquid selenite, right? It's gonna get to this point here, and with liquid selenite, which is happen here, we have water and selenite here, and we get liquid selenite. We put liquid selenite through the another reactor. Now, what you need here is quite confusing at first because we need a wastewater sewage. So this one combined with wastewater. We're gonna talk about wastewater later. What we get is a true product here and here. Same color but different thing, right? Because in this one we have this formula. Selenite, liquid selenite plus wastewater get into zircon effluent and inner zircon effluent. Inner zircon just need to be destroyed. So assuming this is inner zircon, this need to be destroyed. And this one will be combined with ferrium powder. 2 of them actually. 2 of them with ferrium powder to make into zircon itself together with wastewater. So we get zircon and wastewater. So of course this one needs to be destroyed. And this one gonna go into the battery production line. So because only this line, right, will result in one effluent, we need 2 of these, right? We need to time 2 to get the 2 effluent to take together with the ferrium powder to make zircon as 100% efficiency. That's why we need 5 total, right? 2 here. These 2 will produce 1 zircon effluent. These 2 will produce another one, and we line these 2 into the last crucible. So 2 effluent come here, 1 powder, and it's gonna produce zircon and a wastewater. But then at the start, where do we get wastewater from this? Well, wastewater coming from a new ore production, which is cuprium. You can mine this at maximum right now 120. These are only available in the Kibo storage. Right? We have like 6 here and then another 2 here. So when you refine this, right, you need water to refine cuprium ore into the pure cuprium, and because of that, we're gonna generate wastewater. So we link wastewater not to the first crucible, right, to the second crucible together with the liquid selenite to make this happen. So it's gonna be fun. In my opinion, it's quite fun to utilize wastewater and do it's like a puzzle that you need to figure out and put this here. really fun in my opinion. There is some people online that say that you can link wastewater from the last crucible back to one of these two crucible, right? Because it just need wastewater. I don't recommend that. The reason why I don't recommend that is because if something happened during the production line and make it so that reactor stop working or clocking, then what happened? What happened is that this crucible will not have any wastewater left to use. So your production line gonna be decreased by 50%, right? But with this, hopefully you have, of course, you don't want to overcap on the Coupium and Coupium part. So we need you to utilize that, but we're gonna talk about that later. How to utilize this production so that it's not gonna be overflow and stop production. Because if Coupium stop refining, we also not gonna have any wastewater to use for our battery either, right? So I feel like in this update, the thing that we can do with our production is quite restrictive, because if we don't do all of these things, right, produce 6 styling A, and if you don't do 6 styling A, basically you not gonna have 100% efficiency in producing battery, which is kinda restrictive because it's linked together. You cannot separate these two from each other at all. So yeah, that is all these parts, right? These L-shaped parts. What about these two? Nothing much. This is just my own blueprint of a free selenite. By free, it's not like it generates for free, but by free, it doesn't need any input of the D port. It doesn't need any input from the outpost port at all. It's fully free and it's gonna keep generating selenite at 100% efficiency as long as you have enough water, which is just 2 intake of water. So yeah, these two will generate 2 selenite ore, which these two gonna be used, of course, to generate liquid selenite. So we not waste any material in this area, except I think 1 sand leaf powder and 2 coupium pot. Those need to be used somewhere else. Well, sand leaf powder is whatever, but coupium pot need to be used somewhere else. But before we move to where we use the coupium pot, which is at my main bed, let's talk about the water a little bit, because if you don't know, the pump generates water at 1 unit per second, right? So when you link it to this factory unit, usually it's gonna use 1 unit per 2 seconds. So one water pump can supply water to at most 2 factory unit. If you do more than 2, it's gonna deplete eventually, slowly, but eventually it's gonna be deplete, and your production not gonna be at 100% efficiency. So that is one thing you need to keep in mind. But another thing to keep in mind is that maximum transfer of water is 2 units per second. So you can see what I do here, right? I have this thing, a new technology, right? Conduit inlet. If we use this on just one pump, it's gonna only transfer 1 per second, right? And as you can see here, I link 2 pumps together with the converter. So it's gonna transfer 2 units per second. And with that, conduit connect from here to here. That means from this conduit, the pipe, no matter how far you do, it can supply for factory unit, because this conduit transfer 2 pump worth of water instead of 1, right? 1 can supply 2, so 2 pump worth can supply 4. But that is the maximum. That is the maximum. You cannot do 3 to supply 6, right? Because the transfer rate is capped at 2 units per second, so only 2 pump can be convert, right? Convert. Yeah, this one converger, convert together. All right, so that's all we want to talk about. At least I want to talk about in this area, and hopefully you find that useful in order to make your own base. I'm not gonna give you any blueprint because the outpost is too big. I cannot copy them into one blueprint for you to just copy and place. I might give you in the description down below this blueprint, the blueprint for free Xiranite, this thing. So you can use this anywhere you want, and you can also squeeze this down. I think you can optimize a little bit more, but this is what I use for Xiranite production line. And since this update, we also have increase in terms of the sky force, right? Force of the sky. Usually we can only have 2, right? We have 1 here, 1 here, plus 2. So we can have 4. We use 2 of them in our outpost. So to use all of them, we have another 2 in my base. So basically the same blueprint, just swap it around to fit it nicely together. 2 here. Of course, zircon production here. Almost the same setup. I didn't use blueprint for this. I just placed things down because pipe, water pipe, and conveyor belt can overlap each other. That means there is so many ways you can fit these production transfer together. So having a blueprint that involve using a pipe is kinda unproductive in my opinion. And we have, of course, the originium cube powder thing, 4 of them up here, and battery here. So these are all we talked about in the outpost before. So it's just the exact same copy to use all here. So that means we can have 12 battery per minute. Now, what do we use our Cupium for? We use 2 of them in the outpost, and because we need to make zircon here, we need another 2 here. That's why I have 2 over here. Refine and molding into a bottle, so that we can use this bottle to fill it with, what is the name again? Yasen solution. And when it fills Yasen solution, it's gonna move to the packaging unit, which is gonna use the Cupium part that we make in our outpost, 2 of them, to have 100% efficiency in terms of making styling A in here. So yeah, this is what we use our Cupium for, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 outlet of Cupium is 120 because 1 outlet is 30 per minute. So yeah, we use every Cupium. So we're not gonna overcap. Well, the depot might overcap, but we're not gonna overcap in terms of production of the Cupium itself. That means our wastewater generator from the refinement is infinite and can be supplied to our zircon without any hiccup, right? Don't try to outsmart the game because I believe they already test all this. And if you, for example, I have this mistake before. If you use 1 pump to supply 3 factory units, at first it will work, but after maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes, you're gonna see some clogging or some loss in efficiency. So that is not good, right? And of course, for siling solution, it's really easy, right? We have Yasen planting unit which generate 2 from 1 seed. By the way, it use water. So one of them gonna be recycled, the other one gonna go to shading, and shading 1 Yasen generate 2 Yasen powder, which gonna supply to crucible, combine the powder with water to make the solution. So yeah, this is all we need, right? I'm not kidding that when I say we need to have 100% Yasen siling A production, because otherwise you gonna overcap from these material, either gonna be Kupium pot or Kupium bottle. So with this we use 100% of whatever we generated. And since we have leftover Yasen powder here, so I don't have anything else to do. So we just use one outlet of ferrium to make into pot. And the other one outlet of ferrium to make into bottle to make siling C at 50% efficiency, right? Because if you look at the recipe, we need 5 per 10 minutes and 10 per, not minute, sorry, second. So initially we need 2 parts in here and 1 ferrium bottle at 100% efficiency, right? To make 6 siling C per minute. But with this setup, I only have like 1 part coming in and like half of the bottle, because in order to make bottle you need two input of ferrium, and I only keep it 1, so this only production at 50%. That means yeah, siling C only gonna produce at 3 per minute instead of 6. And that is basically all we do, at least I do, for my production line in our AIC. And we also have a free sand leaf powder here, because we need to use a little bit for our dense originium powder, the powder cube. So yeah, that is all. I only use this part, right? As you can see here, everything else is still free real estate. And whenever the next update come up and it's gonna have a new outpost, if there is no HC battery yet, right, we still stuck with HC, right, standard class, whatever, then I gonna move. Well, we might get more Fort of the Sky, but I gonna move the battery production line from this area into my new outpost. So that means this gonna be gone whenever the new outpost come up, unless they allow us to produce like another set of SC. But in order to do that, it's kind of hard, because they need to give us 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 240, right? 8 times 3 is 24. 240 more originium mine per minute in order for us to make another HC. So I don't think that's gonna happen. That means I can just move all this into my new outpost and keep my main AIC clean. I don't like when my main AIC have too much stuff. I want to just shove everything in the outpost and don't need to worry about them anymore. Alright, that is all for me today. Before we go, I need to copy this to share with you guys. Right? Yeah, this one. Just in case if you want to. Otherwise, I hope you have fun playing video game. How is your impression on Wuling 1.1? For me, I have a lot of fun, because of course we have Tang Sang. right? We have her. I got her. Together with her signature weapon. So good. So good. So cute. And that is more than enough for me to be happy. The story is good enough for me, right? Good enough for me. It's not like the best story ever, but it's still whatever. It's still like the build up into whatever gonna happen in Wuling. We still have a lot to uncover. But I love Kupium ore. I love Kupium ore. People might think it's kind of confusing, but figuring all this out by myself, right? Figuring how much water can be used, what can I do with the conduit, how to make the stable outlet of wastewater to make zircon. These are so fun for me. So I have a lot of fun with the production part, right? AIC part. And yeah, we at the maximum production already. This is what we can do in total for this update. You cannot push anything more than this. So yeah, if you can manage to get this already, good job. You basically beat Endfield already. So yeah, just chill, do a daily and wait for the next update in like a month and a half. Because the next update gonna come after Lossy Banner, which is like 5 weeks away. Alright, that's all for me today. I hope you have fun playing video game. Good luck with your gacha and see you again next time. And by next time for Enfield, I'm not sure. Maybe next update or update after that. Depend on if we have anything big coming up for AIC. Because this only gonna cover and yapping about AIC, nothing else. Alright, see you again next time. And bye bye.